Hi guys, welcome to or welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you like it here, I'd love it if you stayed and subbed. Been searching to find a video where she said she was gonna do a GoFundMe for Berk, and unless she said it in amongst everything else, I haven't titled it that. But what I have found is the video where she was speaking directly to her mother about her not giving her Berk's college money, and this was what was written underneath it. Money was left to my son from my father and a lawsuit that was designated for his college education, period. It was not to be used for anything else. I swore under oath to have it put in an education fund for Berk. It was written into my father's will to be placed in a designated special account for Berk's education. Berk's name was on the inheritance, and because he was a minor, his grandmother was able to put the money into an account through Fidelity for him. My name was never on it. The account, it was in my mother's name. Cruises, moving to California, etc. are separate issues from the monies left to him, specifically for college. I can't stress that enough. Never once did my mother say, "We can go on a cruise, I'll pay, but it'll eventually come out of Berk's education fund." I didn't force her to go. In fact, when she got physically removed from her apartment and didn't have anywhere to go, except to me, which I told her prior, "If you get kicked out, you can always come and stay with me," she has reiterated this to me as it was a memorable thing for me to say since we were not on good terms. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, other cruises we took, I contributed to some. Most others she paid for. The one that Gungor went on, he paid his own way. My mother had her own cabin, had to pay double occupancy for this luxury. She gets so pissed, doesn't she, when her mum gets something better than her. I stayed in a cabin with my ex-husband and son. Yes, she paid for Berk's camp. My grandparents paid for me to go to camp. My mother paid for lots of things. There's no denying this. It was her joy to be able to do this for me and her only grandson. Those that are saying in lieu of paying for school I shouldn't have let her pay for a cruise or two are, for lack of a better word, stupid, uneducated, naive, ignorant. I am not asking for money to get my lips done or to go on a vacation. I am asking for her to give directly to the college what was freely given to her with trust from her daughter for her precious grandchild to get an education. My God, I've done the best I can. I'm disabled and I still always had a job. To shame me and try and say any of this is my fault is just cruel and shows your hatred for me is blinding you. I have proof of everything. Doesn't it sound suspiciously like the GoFundMe? I have proof, blah de blah, it's not my fault, no. It's my mother. Where are we? I have proof of everything to show that I literally handed over the money to my mother. How can you possibly justify what she did was the right thing? Furthermore, this video was to her, not you. If you dare to comment anything negative or rude, I will respond with a sharp tongue, put you rightfully in your place and block you. Ooh, I'm shitting myself. I don't know who she's talking to, by the way, but anyway. You can then go to an external sites to talk your trash about another person whose life you're not living. Do you understand? You have no right to judge or say anything. I'm not asking you for a damn thing. I'm telling my story and I'm pleading with my mother. I'm also asking her to pay for his, not asking her to pay for his school. The money that I handed over to her was from my father. If you are an ignoramus, with I don't know why she's got a thing on the end, so that'd be ignoramuses. Anyway, that believes we are now even since she paid for a few cruises for her family, and that Berk does not deserve money that was left him, are beyond unreasonable. I will not try and reason or defend myself to those that are ignorant and think she was some kind of angel to have paid for family vacations, which, by the way, she felt lucky that her daughter and grandson wanted to go with her. Had I been married, I would have probably gone with my husband and let her take care of the grandchild, or gone with my husband and son alone, or brought my mother, who would have been the babysitter, as so many people do. This was never the case. I didn't make her go on vacations with me. Are you crazy? I didn't make her pay. She has free will, you know. She benefited greatly from these vacations. You're assuming I have some kind of magical power over her, that she will blindly do as I say. If that was the case, she would have stayed in California, and she certainly would be giving Berk the money for college. How naive and backwards to think it was all spent on cruises, that I sucked her dry. What a colossal joke. Are you listening to yourselves? Stop your judgment. You would not like it if a group of people that you didn't know did this to you when you're already suffering. You have not been perfect in your life, so stop putting me under a microscope and scrutinising my life story. I'll make this perfectly clear. This was not my mother's money to do with as she wanted. It was from my father's, and from a lawsuit that almost left my son with 4 missing fingers. Funny how he's got no scars, isn't it? How she always exaggerates everything. There is no justification for her not giving the money to his school. She's not broke. Well, one minute you say she is, then you say she isn't. Which is it? She's not broke. She flies first class. She stays at the finest hotels. She's only suffering because her actions have broken trust between me and her, and my son and her. Her horrific actions have irrevocable consequences. She has forever lost her family over this. As usual, I will find a way, as I always do, because my son is the most important thing in this world to me. His education and happiness is all that matters to me. Oh, what a load of fucking bollocks. She thinks we believe that. Anywho, on with the video. Look at the face. I'm going to turn the mic off for a sec while I pour a drink.
I'll wait for a couple more people to get on. If everyone could please give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me. Like, very nervous about doing this. Okay. I'm doing it live just because I don't feel like editing. Comments are turned off. Monetization is on. Okay. Oops. So, this is to my mother, because I know that she watches my YouTube channel, and I didn't want to go public with this, but I have to. I don't know where you are, so I assume you're somewhere in Arizona.
Really? Do we believe that? She doesn't know where she is, whatever.
Please don't call me and don't email me. Do it through Berk, or just do what you should be doing. So, a couple of things. Back in 2007, Berk had an accident at the YMCA. Their negligence, and I sued the YMCA. And I have all the documentation right here on my computer.
That could be anything you just twirled around and showed. And I thought this was a message just for your mother. Your mother knows all this, so why are you telling her?
We got $17,000. I think $3,000 needed to go to the attorney. The rest, I swore in front of a judge that I would put it into an account for my son. I had power of attorney because he was 7. And I then took that money and handed it over to you, my money manager, because the more money that we had in the family account, the more interest we could draw off of.
Hang on a minute, you gave it to your mother to put in her account, when you've just said in that long diatribe underneath this video that it was put in a specific trust fund for him for his education. Which is it?
That money that helped me live and obviously helped you live as well. You all, from the sale of your house on blank road, close to $1 million, 800 and something thousand paid off. That plus money that I did give you from the sale of my house, plus inheritance from my father, for me, and for Berk, for school. Now, you gave me a credit card so that I could use that credit card monthly for groceries and incidentals, and yes, you helped me a lot. Let's forget about my part of what my father left me. I don't even care about the money.
Really? Because you know you've spent it over and over and over. That woman doesn't owe you a penny. Yet you're going to keep on sucking her dry, aren't you?
Berk is in school. He cannot register for spring classes until he pays the outstanding balance for this semester. Basically, his school is $14,000 a semester. Okay? We have all the financial aid that we can possibly get. He works 2 jobs, and I work. Regardless, if I spend money on, I'm just talking to other people right now, if I spend money on what...
Why are you talking to other people? I thought this was for your mother.
Every fucking think I'm spending money on a tattoo, pair of sneakers. Okay? It doesn't matter. And I'm not asking for money from anybody, including my mother. That's not her money. So I handed that over to her. Back in 2009, it took 2 years for us to sue them. Now, you recently, Mom, saw that I opened a GoFundMe for Berk, which we only raised $500, which...
Ah, there we go. There's the mention of the GoFundMe.
Basically paid for his bedding and his parking and things like that.
$500 paid for his bedding and his parking. What was the video where you were there with him in this room and you'd bought him his bedding? Which was it? Was it the GoFundMe that paid for that, or you? Does she ever tell the truth? Ever?
And you wrote me because you saw the video. And here's what my mother wrote me.
She knows what she wrote you. I thought this was to talk to her because you didn't know where she was. All you're doing is airing out your dirty laundry.
Sent from her iPad. Okay. Subject line, college for my son. Dear Lori and Berk, I am sorry that you are in a position where you have had to ask your followers for the last $14,000 to send your son to college. First of all, it's one semester. Let me help! Exclamation point. First thing I will do is write to the college explaining the predicament.
Hang on a minute.
I will beg them for a loan in my name for him to be paid off by me in monthly installments.
Why do I never know what button to press? So, Jed came in, we had a chat. Then I clicked on something. Found out the Next Fest is on Steam, and there's a whole load of games with free demos. So I've been looking at what ones to list to try over the following week, and then it was like, oh, I was in the middle of a video, wasn't I? I can't remember where we're up to, but we'll jump back in.
We will extend the loan and payments until he has graduated. I thought you said you were refused a loan. Well, I will take that amount onto my loan. It will just be payback from me for the father's money I've spent. Between banks and the school, you will get what you need. If I need some signatures and documentation for these loans, I will let you know. I have also arranged to make small payments to the collection agency and will proceed to find myself an apartment. Because she didn't pay her rent for a year. So she owes $32,000 and can't get an apartment because hasn't paid that.
Yeah, and you're sat there looking all smug that you've got an apartment and she hasn't, but you're not paying your rent, are you? Tell the truth.
I was thinking of going to Tempe to find a condo with an extra bedroom and bath for you and a garage for my car or my boy's truck. You have no right to call him your boy anymore after what you've done or haven't done. I understand what you are trying to do for me and I see the light. I miss Pom Pom. How is she doing? I keep hallucinating that she is by my side. I hope I have put your mind at rest. The best is yet to come. Written to me on August 17th, 2020. I did not respond. I have not heard anything from her. First of all, Mom.
I did not respond. Why not? You're desperate for this money for Berk's education. She said she'd sort it out and you didn't answer her. Why? You don't know where she is, but you've got her email. You don't know where she is, but you've got her phone number. She said she'd get a loan, though why she has to is beyond me. But anyway, she laid it all out. She told you not to worry, and then you didn't get in contact with her. So whose fault is all of this?
Colleges don't give loans, so forget about that. We are going to apply for scholarships for the 21-22 season. But for right now, he cannot register for spring classes because he owes $14,000.
Can I just ask? I thought university or college or whatever the hell it is in America was the same as going to university here. I never understood how people just went to university, because I thought, wow, some people must be absolutely loaded. But here, what happens is you go, you do all your courses, and you don't pay anything until you start earning over a certain level. So, had I known that, I could have gone. But poor people are never told these things. The rich know all the scams, but the poor people don't. So I thought it was the same in America, because I've heard so many people saying they're crippled with student debt. So why does she want to pay up front why do they want the money up front? I thought he could go and... Americans, tell me, how does it work over there? Does she need the money before? Does he have to pay before he goes? Or does he not just pay when he's got a job? I don't understand.
and it keeps going up. So right now he actually is in arrears, 5,000, and then by October 25th, if we don't pay the 5,000, it's 7,000. So let me help. First thing I will do is write the college explain the predicament. What is the predicament? The predicament is
that none of you have any money. That's the predicament.
hold on. Screenshot another letter that you wrote me. Okay. Well, this is from my uncle back in 2011 when my father passed away. Just to let you know, he says, and I'm not going to say the name of my stepsister. Blank got a distribution for the first money in the mail last week. You should call, and then he says the name of the attorney, to find out where yours is. I don't know if it is just being held up because of the name change from my married name to Langer. The first papers use your married name, and my stepsister's uncle is apparently away on vacation for a month and has to re-sign the papers in which he resigned as trustee. So my father had made my uncle and my stepsister's uncle trustees.
Maybe they should have left it like that, and you might have had the money for Berk's college, just saying.
Of this annuity. If I were you, I'd call the attorney to find out what is happening with the money for the blank annuity. That's the part where the money goes to you and Berk separately. The rest of the pooled trust will take a while to divide since we're going to have to pay 2011 tax on the blank annuity, which wasn't sold until 2011. When that money was dispersed, a portion was given to me, and then there was a portion given to Berk. And I gave it to my mother to put in the pool.
Right, so you didn't give it to her to put in trust. You stood, swore an oath, but you didn't do what you swore the oath to do. So you squandered all the money you got from your dad, but you gave Berk's money to your mum instead of putting it in a trust. All I keep staring at is that vent over her kitchen that is stuffed full of shit. She doesn't know how to hoover out an air vent. Oh, right, she can't because she hasn't got a hoover. Silly me.
Now, granted, yeah, we went on cruises afterwards, and now she's saying that I don't get that because, you know, she's paid for things for me, whatever. But Berk's was supposed to go into a special account. Let me find that screenshot that my mother wrote me on her birthday of this year, 2/24/20. That money for Berk from my father, which I believe was 30,000, was supposed to go into a special account for him for school.
That's a lot of money. So your father gave you money, Berk money, his other family money. How much did he have? I thought the poor man had MS and wasn't doing a lot near the end, so he must have invested well. And then what happened? It all disappeared.
Just for school. Okay, so I handed it over to my mother. Now, why did I do this? I mean, my mother was like my best friend. I trusted her with all of this, and it did help. It helped our financial situation because, like I said, and like she had said, you have that capital, it yields more interest the more capital that you have. And I'm not going to beat myself over the head for having given that money to my mother who I trusted. I'm just not, okay? So this is why I turned the comments off. I don't want to hear all.
Well, maybe you should have gone with her when you gave her the money and made sure that it was put in a special account, and then you could have relaxed. Because I sure as hell wouldn't hand any money that had been, what's the word? It's not betrothed, is it? That's getting married. Anywho, whatever the hell the word is, if someone had left money to my kids, like if some freak of nature, my mother, leaves my children any money, I will make damn sure it's in an account for them. I won't just hand it over to somebody else and hope they do it.
Garbage of people saying, do this, do that, whatever. If you really feel like you have a solution, you can email me and tell me what you think the solution is. Not for Berk now to go into the army or to maybe take a gap year or all these other ridiculous things. No. He is in school. She needs to step up. Take a loan. I don't care, Mom, where you are, what you're doing. You can pay the school directly. You know where he goes. You can contact him. He will give you his account. They don't care where the money is coming from. They just want the money. You need to pay the money. So my mother writes me and says, Lore, I thought it would be easiest on our relationship if I emailed you information about the monies that you refer to when we speak. That way we do not interrupt each other or get our thoughts expressed in a heated manner. As for the sum of $11,000 that Berk received from the YMCA, I threw that number in the air because that's what originally I think the YMCA came back with. But we got $17,000, Mom, not 11, $17,000 of which we paid $3,000, no more than that, for the attorney. There is a cap because the YMCA is a nonprofit, I believe, or whatever. There's a cap, so we couldn't sue in the 20,000s, but we didn't get 11,000. We got 17, and 3,000 was paid to the lawyer. So you're coming up with this $11,000 because that's the number that I remembered, and I fought with the YMCA through my lawyer to up the money as much as we could because I am the master negotiator. And
11, 14, it's in the same ballpark. Maybe she just wrote that for a number to write.
He broke 4 fingers in 2 places with compound fractures. He literally, he was 7 and he was tiny.
Were they fractures or did he break them?
And a table fell on his hand. He had compound fractures, which means it was cut 2 places, 4 fingers down to the bone, and broke.
Yeah, a compound fracture is a fracture of the bone. You're saying he was cut down to the bone. No, why can she never just make sense? At least tell the truth about one thing, and then you won't trip yourself up saying something stupid.
All those fingers. His hand turned black. He was a knitter at the time. He was in, was he in 1st grade or 2nd grade? 1st grade, I believe. 1st grade. Stitches, scars. Okay, he could have lost his fingers when I think about it, like, whatever. So she says, as for the sum of the $11,000 that Berk received from the YMCA due to his accident for which they were responsible, you asked me to... See, my mother knows how to word this so that I can't take her to court. You asked me to put it in an investment account designated for Berk. On the advice This is all bullshit, by the way. My mother says whatever she needs to say. She's a very smart, conniving woman. On the advice of
You learnt well then, didn't you, dear? Conniving is a word I'd use for you.
investment counselors, I opened a UTMA account in his name, which could not be touched because it is an education account only and can only be used for future education costs for Berk. It was invested into various funds which hopefully would grow. Recently, it came to my attention that when the time came for Berk to seek scholarship and educational loans, any money given to him by school, state, or other means would first deduct said amount from the UTMA account. Had I been advised of this, I never would have set up such an account, since your family's financial situation is going to rely heavily, if not wholly, on scholarships and loans. I've been denied loans,
So then if you haven't got loans, then you should get the full amount of money from the thing that you put the money in. Is everybody else keeping up with this?
and I doubt Google can get a loan, and I think Berk's been denied loans.
You think?
Under these circumstances, I have closed this account and transferred the funds into my personal account, which will be given to Berk after he receives any scholarships and loans. Because I do not want to do anything that is not in keeping with the rules and regulations on these types of accounts. If transferring accounts infers this, then the $11,000 will be given to him as it relates to all other school costs. And also, any and all taxes and fees or penalties will be paid if necessary. So there cannot be any further discussion of this $11,000 until Berk is settled into his new college 2 years from now. The money is in lockdown, as they say, Mom. 227 people on please give me thumbs up, so at least I can make a teeny bit of money from this video that I have to tell everybody my personal life, because I'm trying to reach my mother. I cannot call her. She will say whatever she needs to say. Hi. The voice will be very, very high.
Like you do.
I have no idea where she is.
Of course you don't.
She needs, Mom, if you're watching, and I don't know, you need to call the school, you need to call Berk, you need to text him, you need to email him. Once it is all done, I will take down this video. But I need to publicly, quote unquote, shame you, because this should not be happening. How can you do this to Berk? How can you do this to your grandson? And then you call him my boy? He's not your boy. You have ruined this my relationship. Forget about me. You've ruined your relationship with Berk. You need to do the right thing. You were given money by me. I don't even know how to go about. Who wants to sue their mother? I don't even know how to go about doing it. I don't have the funds to do it. I can't, I don't know.
I'm not going to beat myself up about giving it to my mother. No, so that removes all blame from you and puts it squarely on her, when the blame should be with you. You were Berk's mother, are Berk's mother. When you got that money for Berk, you should have put it in an account for Berk. Why did you give it to your mother to put in an account for Berk? You didn't. You gave it to your mother to put in the pot that both of you got money from and forgot about it. And now, when you've squandered it all, possibly, you're blaming her when you're as much to blame.
Where she is. I don't know where she lives. If she lived in Massachusetts, I'd have to go to Massachusetts. This could take years. I'm not asking for $30,000 or $100,000. I'm asking for let's just say, so that we can breathe easy, I'm going to apply for he's going to apply for scholarships for 21-20 school year. But for now, we need the money for fall semester and spring semester, or else he won't be able to go to school. And there's no reason. 245 people, 55 thumbs up. Okay. Whatever.
There's a lot of people that wanted to go to school that couldn't afford to go to school and didn't go. There's lots of people who wanted to go to school and didn't have a Grammy with money, and they worked their asses off and they put themselves through school. You always expect somebody else to foot the bill and that you're supposed to get everything that you ever ask for. Just once, I wish someone would say no.
You know the school he goes to. Call Berk. Get the telephone number for financial aid. Call Berk. He will give you because my mother won't even send. How convenient. All of a sudden, she won't even send a gift, like an Apple Watch or money or anything in the mail, because she doesn't trust the mail anymore.
An Apple Watch. So she bought him Apple Watches and sent him money and whatever. Do you know how entitled you sound? You don't get it, do you? You have no clue.
So that's very convenient. And then when she came here, she was going to give me $1,000 and Berk $1,000, and none of that materialized. That should have been.
And then you threw her out the house because she hadn't brought you any money. Yeah, I remember that video as well. Don't know if I've got it, but you had a fucking major meltdown over kitchen towel. Does anyone remember that? She always bought the best. You threw her out because she said she'd come and visit and she'd bring money. And she didn't bring money, and you threw her out in the middle of the night. And you wonder why she doesn't want to talk to you.
In your hand right away.
Really?
Where is it?
The money should have been in your hand right away the minute she walked through the door. Not, oh, Mum, I'm so glad to see you. Where's the money?
In your hand right away. How convenient. All of a sudden, she won't even send a gift, like an Apple Watch or money or anything in the mail, because she doesn't trust the mail anymore. So that's very convenient. And then when she came here, she was going to give me $1,000 and Berk $1,000, and none of that materialized. That should have been in your hand right away. Where is it? I know you're not rich anymore. Did you spend it all? You can, if you spent it all, I don't care. You need to take a loan somehow. I don't know, sell your car. Sell
Sell yours.
And pay for Berk's school, because I gave you that money from my father and from the YMCA.
Oh, hang on a minute. No. Didn't you say you'd spent the money from your father? That doesn't, that's irrelevant. Yeah. I can't. It's the entitlement. I fucking can't with this woman.
And I shouldn't be having to even go through this. Berk is stressed out. He has 2 jobs and full-time school. You went to undergraduate school. You got your master's. Your parents worked. Grandpa worked 3 jobs. Grandma worked 2 jobs to send you, Bobby and Murray, to school.
Hello? Did you just say her mother and father? 2024.
And pay for Berk's school, because I gave you that money from my father and from the YMCA. And I shouldn't be having to even go through this. Berk is stressed out. He has 2 jobs and full-time school. You went to undergraduate school. You got your master's. Your parents.
Your parents, right. Her parents paid to put her through school. Do you know what you are? You're Berk's parent. You should be paying to put him through school if that's how it works in your family, if that's the tradition, if that's what everybody else did. When have you ever stepped up to the plate and done your job as a parent? When?
Grandpa worked 3 jobs. Grandma worked 2 jobs to send you, Bobby, and Murray to school. They never would have done something like this to their grandson or me. How can you do this to Berk? Forget about me. Whatever issues you have, forget about me. You have to go and pay whatever you can. You have to take a loan on credit cards. You flew here first class. You stayed for a month in California twice at the Monarch. No, what was the other one? The Monarch or begins with an M.
She's not allowed to stay at a posh hotel.
Thousands and thousands. And then you say that at 81 years old, you have the right to do that. You're going to do that.
Yes, she has got the right.
But not at the expense of Berk's college. And even when you were here, you sat here and you said, I'm not taking a loan. What about his father? Well, what about his father? His father's not stepping up or can't. And I can't. I've done everything I can. We shouldn't have to. The money was left for that specific reason. You even said it in your latest video, the money that I gave you. I have everything recorded with my phone when you sat here.
Oh, that's a lovely way to treat your mother, isn't it? Secretly recording her.
I have documentation. I can call the attorney that I used for the YMCA. I can call the attorney that my uncle and father used for his estate. And I can call Brookline Bank and show around these dates the lump sums that were transferred into your account. So this is my plea, that you do this, do the right thing, figure out a way for Berk. He only has 2 years, and already the college experience is, with the virus and everything, is not. This is his one and only time. And I don't trust you. You didn't come to his high school graduation the day before. You texted me saying you didn't feel well.
How many times do you weasel out of things because you don't feel well? She's 80 fucking 1. Yet she's supposed to fly halfway across America to see something that she could see on a YouTube video.
So I guess, I don't know, do you not care? I can't believe you don't care. How can you not care about that baby that supposedly you loved so much?
Guilt trip, guilt trip, guilt trip, guilt trip.
And through all this, I still love you. I still love you. I still love you.
Gotta hand it to her. She puts on a good show. I will add this to the scam playlist. If you got to the end with me, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.